I
in
wonder
5 minutes
too.
time.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I think, are we on air?
Just getting there now.
Great. Yeah, I wonder whether I thought it might be a kind of buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's what I was looking to happen, and it still may. It still could fail up here, but it didn't happen straight away, and actually signs were fairly positive afterwards. So I'm kind of looking for a break to the upside again. I don't know what's going to bring this market down. So
have you got any idea of the detail?
I did hear little bits and pieces. And it's one of those, there seems to be some economists that really don't like it, and I wonder whether they're on the Democratic side, and there are other economists that said it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Because they're almost,
Okay.
they're pleased with that there's a deal at all. It's progress because there's a deal in the first place.
Well, it's
and
got
it
to ease the nerves, hasn't it? Really, in some
I
degree.
think so. Yeah, I think so. Are we live? Have you gone?
You still? No.
Oh. I thought you were going to sleep, mate.
I'm on the sleep, but I am still here.
Oh, great. Are we on air? Are we?
We are on air, and we are live and free in YouTube. I haven't shared anything yet by the look of it. Look, there are a couple of things I'm looking at, and have you got a trade that you need to place now? Or
an order? I think there's an order that's worth placing. Yeah, so let's do that first, and I'll bring it to the
Okay, and then I'll place the pound trade.
That'd be great. Okay. Yeah, I just and this is I've kind of thrown the towel in a little bit, guys. I think I've decided that that the bulls are far too strong here. So
can you share?
Probably.
Or no?
Oh, sorry, mate. Yeah. I was just talking it through. Can I share? No.
Do I have to stop? No. Okay.
Yes. See you in a bit. Yeah, so I am going to trade the FTSE long. I have actually put an order in. I'm not trading on the UK 100 on this particular account, but I've placed it on my other account. And it was for 76.35 to buy in. It might well be the daily pivot. It might be. I think the daily pivots would be just as good. If better actually if it comes down there. So it might break down. This is the thing, and I was going to say I have placed this order, but I'm still a bit skeptical. I'm a bit of a bear when it comes down to it. I was just saying to Jeff, I'm a bit suspicious of the kind of buy the rumor, sell the news. But I just can't deny what's been going on with the price action, and the price action continues to be very, very strong. And I wonder whether we're just going to continue to just grind up, and I don't see the point in missing out on it if that's going to be the case, because if we do break out of this area, then we're going to go a long way. So I've decided that I'm going to give it a shout, and I'm not saying to you guys that you should or you shouldn't. I'm just telling you that's what I'm doing, and we'll see how it goes. And don't go in too heavy, because you are buying right into resistance here. But as I say, maybe we now have the catalyst we need to actually take out this level. And this is a monthly chart. So if we were to take out this level, then there's every chance that we're going to go back and possibly even test the highs on the monthly, which is currently around about 250, 270, about 280 pips away from where we sit. So that to me looks like a fairly decent proposition. So that's what I've done. And as I say, we'll see how it goes. It could still fail here, because I still think that there's a chance of a buy the rumor, sell the news. But as I look across the board, at other barometers, gold gold starts a little bit of weakness, but gold's did have a bit of a rally, and I wonder whether that's where the protection is starting to go. But maybe at a level of resistance there on gold. S&P is the thing that just continues to grind higher, and this is where I start to get concerned that could be missing out on a decent decent trend and a decent run to the upside, because I watched the price action after the trade one, the phase one trade agreement, and it did dip, but then it just continued. Then it just turned around and decided, you know what, we're not going to dip too much. We're going to continue to grind our way to the upside, and because of that, you have to start to think, well, if the S&P is quite happy, not coming back after hitting 3,300, which is it's a round number, and the Dow's not happy and doesn't believe that 29,000 is sufficient, then why would the FTSE fail? So that's my thinking behind it, and I hate getting in here, but it might just be one of those things that we might have to do, because if it was to go at these levels, I don't like trading breakouts at all, but I did try one yesterday to the downside, and that didn't work out. So the same may well happen here. So this is why I'm not saying to you should do this, but I'm just telling you what I'm doing here, and if you fancy getting on board as well, then I guess you're gonna have to make your own judgment call, because what you might find is that actually you want a better price. Maybe you're happy to go long, but you want a better price that could well be on offer. Or you might decide that this market isn't going up, it's actually going to be coming down from these levels, because there is an element when we look at these on an hourly chart. Looks like the S&P could be hitting a double top up here, and the Dow, sorry, that's the Dow, the S&P is actually breaking to the upside just about. The FTSE 100 probably is hitting a triple top up here as well, double top maybe. So there's every chance, I say, that this could actually fail here. But I just don't know what the drive would be to the downside as well. When I consider some of the other factors, then the other thing that kind of interests me with the FTSE is the pound, and I just don't know what's going to get the pound some fuel. I look at the pound, and the pound's move to the upside just makes me think, well, it's a kind of it's going to be a sell the rip scenario with the pound, because MPC members coming out and suggesting that there will be a rate cut is just going to put everybody on tenterhooks for the upcoming data. And with the upcoming data, it's not too far away. There's a few bits and pieces of data which we can quickly check coming up very soon. Then that it's going to be one of those that they might well wait for the data before they sell off with a pound. But the house prices, this is just suggesting that there is a boost in house prices in the UK, so that's a fairly good thing. The credit conditions might be of interest, but I think we really get into the meat when we look at retail sales. The Chinese GDP is always going to be an interesting one, and possibly that could be enough to kind of put the brakes on the market as well. We'll have to see if that news was to come out, what that was to do with the market quarter on year. If that came out at 6% and held solid, that'd be another positive sign. If we look at the chart.
This pound trade.
Oh, sorry, buddy. Yeah. No problem. Sorry, I was on a bit of a
on a tear, mate. You were away.
On a tear. I was on a tear.
You'll have to stop.
We'll come back to news. News can wait, can't it?
Yeah. Have you stopped sharing?
Yes.
Okay. Then let's have a look at this jolly old thing that keeps disappointing us actually this week. It's not going to flash at all. 3 losers in a row. But I've got to tell you guys, it was a winner for me. And I was actually in a meeting with Ash and Paul last night when this was happening. And I said, we've got to take profit here, guys. We've got to take profit here. But I couldn't communicate it to you guys. So I'm hoping that you did. Yeah. And it's also inspired me to add a new parameter.
Brilliant.
To the system, because this is twice now this has happened in the space of, I think, 2 weeks, maybe. Well, we've only been going 2 weeks, so it has to be 2 weeks, where we've had a surge one way or the other. And last week I think it was long. Can't remember. Was it this one? Must have been this one. No, it's back in December. We had a surge last week, I'm sure. Maybe it was that one. No, we sold. That one. There you go. Where I said, guys, you've got to take profit up here. You just got to. And exactly the same thing happened yesterday. Oh, what did I just do? Just moved everything. Anyway, I'll get to that, and I'll tell you the entry level. The entry level is at... The entry level is at 130.28 for the short. And the stop loss is 130.5, or sorry, 130.58. So 20 pips of risk there, and vice versa for the buy. So just trading this bar, not trading the range, which is the option. So 10 above the range if you want to go that way, 5 below the range, which is the same entry for the short. Mate, carry on with what you were doing, then I'll come back and dissect this from yesterday and add the parameter that I'm going to now place into the system.
Great. Well, did you know what? You can do that now if you want, mate.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Let's go for that now while we're here. All
right. Well, like I said, there was a surge to the downside yesterday as, what's old matey's name? Saunders, I think it was, MPC dude. He was having a chat, and as so often is the case with chats, they go one way and then they go the other. So this is not only for chats, but I think it's every time the market surges past 1-to-1, I think we need to take profit, guys. Because at the moment we are in very fickle territory, I think it's certainly pertinent in this climate, but I think it's also going to be pertinent for most climates. So, and I'm never averse of taking money, of banking money. So what we're going to do is we're going to add to the strategy. Once you're past 1-to-1 on the entry, you must take profit. So I'm going to call that as 50%. And therefore, pardon me, therefore there can't be a loss on the trade. And then you'll still trade your 15-minute bars. So that's just adding another filter or another management tool, basically. Once you're in the trade and go past 1-to-1, take profit. And you can program that into your MT4 or your EA or whatever you're trading. So yesterday, I don't know whether that actually got to 1-to-1. It must have been very, very close. But I took profit around about that mark there, very near the bottom of the candle. So that trade was actually a winner for me, where on paper it will go down as a loss. And there was the entry from there. There to there, 30 pips. Didn't quite make it. So you would have been under the same circumstance. Let's make it 0.9, guys. 0.9. So 1-to-1 is a number that I hate. I think it's a terrible number because it's visible, it's predictable. 0.9, not so much. So let's make it 0.9. So 0.9 of your risk will be where we'll take our first profit, regardless of what happens. So with the trail yesterday, as I said, that would have turned out to be another loser. And let me put our little entries in there. And that would have been the level, 30.11. So that was your entry level. 15-minute chart. Okay, you got taken in here. We were immediately in deficit, but then we got 2 bars, trail you stop to there, another bar, trail you stop to there, another bar, trail you stop to there. So that was as good as it got. And then we got this bloody tuning fork thing that just went straight back. You know, how unlucky can you be, really, at the end of the day? That, and timing's everything, of course. All we needed was for that bar there to be black or a doji, and we take a fair bit of profit out of that one. It didn't happen, of course. So that's just the way it is. You may find another way to trail this, maybe on a 5-minute chart, maybe not. I think if you're trading on a 5-minute chart, you probably would have been in trouble here anyway. So it would have been very much a similar scenario, similar result. But the end result of that was 5 pips lost out of, can't remember the risk now, 36 or something like that. And that's what it looked like yesterday on the method that we're trading. We lost 0.11%, which took our progressive to 11.37% positive. And on the stop loss to high and low of candle, we lost 0.15 of 1%. And that took our earnings to 13.29% over, we're not quite up to 2 months yet, but closing in. Once again, I'll point out that the interesting part is we've lost 1.11% this week with 4 losers, risking 4%. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. When we start to pile some winners on here, we should improve that dramatically. For those of you who've just come into the trial strategy, you're probably not feeling so great about it, but at the end of the day, you would have lost, what did I just say? 1.11. Is that right? Yep. 1.11. 1.11. 1.06, so 2.07, 2.17, sorry, 2.46% versus 1.53 and so 1.67. So that is around not even 1%, the way I work that out. And you've had 7 losers and 2 winners. So you've risked 9%. And you've lost 1%. With those 7 losers out of 9, that's pretty okay. I'm okay with the way that works.
That's good.
So once we start to level this up, you can see we're going to go ahead and leap some bounds here. Of course, we have to level it up. We haven't done that yet. Maybe today's the day, guys. We'll see. All right, mate, that's where we're at. Again, I'm going to add another column, and it's going to read TP1. Now, that will have two options. It will be tick or NA, or yes or NA. There won't be a no. There'll be just yes or NA, non-applicable. Okay. So I'll do that from now on, and we'll adjust the win-loss based on that TP1. We'll now add that to the system. Hope you've all got it. It's 0.9 of 1%. So, sorry, 0.9 of your risk. So if you're risking 30 pips, you'll be taking TP1 at 27 pips. Got it? Shouldn't wreck. I don't think it'll wreck it too much, but we'll continue to monitor that. And if it does give us an adverse effect, then obviously we'll change it. But
this is still in its early throes, isn't it?
Very much so, mate. We've got more than a month to go testing this, and just adding that little tweak, as I said we would, may make a difference to these things. Turning from red to green, that's what I'm saying. From green to red, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And if we can do that, happy days.
Yeah, I think that's great.
We'll see. Right, mate. She's all yours.
Yeah, well, it was just just really discussing the pound. There's just some of the news and the data that might well drive the market. I'm just looking at this FTSE. 1 second. 1 second. Under a bit of pressure this morning. Let's just have a look at this for a minute here. I'm just going to see it pop up a little bit.
Hi, Rich. Hi, LT. That sad face there, LT. It's part of the game, bud. Part of the game.
What's that?
LT's got a sad face. He's lost a few.
Oh yeah, do you know, LT? I'm having a tough start to the year as well. I've got to be honest. It's
look, I don't know too many traders who are having a fun time right now. I've got to tell you.
No, do you know, it's one of those. Ainsley had a great one on gold, and I think it's one of those. If you've managed to catch one of these really explosive moves, then you're okay. But you know, it took her a while to get into that, and that's the thing. You just got to stick in there. And
have you got the screen? I can't see your screen.
No, sorry, mate. I was just trying to manage this trade.
Okay. Do you want me to continue then? And you,
if that's okay, yeah,
that's no problem. All right, guys, I'll go through a few things that I am looking at. The primary thing I'm looking at today is, if I can get my screen back. I'm not sure how I can do that, but let's try.
Oh, shall I share and then pass it back?
I seem to have lost the ability somewhere.
Let me do this. Share this. And then just pass it back to you.
Okay.
Has that worked?
I don't even appear to be in the meeting.
Oh.
Not seeing not seeing anything here. Post attendee. I'll duck out and come back if I can.
Yeah, sure.
Not that I know how to duck out, because apparently I'm still in here. It just tells me I'm not.
Let me share just in case.
Which is kind of weird. Sorry, mate. I'll get back as soon as I can.
No problem. Yeah, just looking at this FTSE just drifting down here, but it's because it's attempting to get back into the trend line. You just see it. Hold on.
Okay, I'm here.
Do it on this one just so you guys can see it. You there? Yeah, I'm just looking at this here.
You want me to take it?
Looks all right. Actually, it looks okay. Should be all right. I'm gonna wait for this trend line here and see if that can hold to the upside. That's probably the stop placement, guys. Around about the 60, 76, 20 area, I would suggest is where we probably want to get out of this, rather than sticking with it. There is a shorter term trend line that runs along here that it's just breaking down, but there's this other one here that may well hold it up, and if it doesn't hold it up, then it should pop up at least to get you out, just with the strength of the market. It should be all right, mate. I'm okay for the minute, actually, and now I've got that trend line in place. It's not as bad, even though that's different to what I've got on. Oh no, that's okay. I'll do it there. There we go. Okay, so actually, yeah, just if you don't mind taking it 1 second, mate, then I'll be back in and I can focus.
Okay, if you stop, I'll be good. And here we go. So my main focus today, that's Aussie CAD that we're still in, been in that for too long. Dreadful scenario there. But that's the way she goes. What I'm looking at today in sharp focus is Kiwi US dollar, and my bias was short. I now see that it's broken to the high side. Whether that's sustainable or not is probably questionable at this point. We are attacking the weekly pivot, and we have broken through the monthly pivot. My analysis said that if we break this bar here, we're headed short, And if we break the weekly, the monthly pivot, then we're headed long. You don't need to be Einstein to work that out, I don't think, but that was my analysis today. So I'm actually quite chuffed that we are here. The reason is that we'll get a very strong indication whether or not this is going to be a break or a false break. Either way, we can look to trade that depending on what happens next. If we get a close above the weekly pivot and then we come back to the monthly pivot and the trend line, I'm a bull. But if we just hesitate here and the weekly pivot holds us up, then I'll just wait and see if we can come back under here and retest, and away we go. So that is Kiwi. I've got a few other things that I'm looking at. As I said, Aussie CAD, the trade that we're still in, hate it. Aussie US dollar. Now, Aussie US dollar, similar to what I've just described on the Kiwi dollar, is similar, but not the same. Similar because it has to get through a resistance level here to go long, but there's a nice little target up here for a TP as well, which is kind of on that level. I like that. That's pretty cool. But I haven't got a way into that. The way into that would have been yesterday, and we discussed this yesterday, with the break and retest of not only the trend line or trade line, but also the weekly pivot and the daily pivot. I was very hesitant to take that long because of the level that we're trading straight into, and I said as much, and I did not take that trade. Now, price has done its whoopsie doodle there, so you would have been taken in. Had you taken profit here, happy days, no drama, but had you not, you may well have been taken out of that trade for a loss. I'm not sure how that candle formed, actually. I can't remember. Probably I wasn't watching at the time, but that was a bit iffy. It's now, gone into consolidation, obviously, and too difficult to trade for me on a 4-hour time frame, which is what this time frame is. But I think if I got the opportunity to trade this, I think I'd be happy to take a trade long. I'm just not sure how that's going to work out without price coming back down to the daily pivot. If it did, then I've got an opportunity. But whilst ever we're going up, down inside this little now new, if you like, forming rectangle, it's very, very difficult to think that I'm going to get an opportunity to do that. So I need price to come back here is what I'm saying. Trade that? Yeah, sure. If we get up to 69.16.5 or these highs here, and we look at, I don't know, maybe a new trade line coming through here, sure, we can trade it back. No problem. In fact, that wouldn't be such a bad idea. So let's keep our eye on the Aussie. For our Aussie CAD trade, obviously, I hope that continues to rally. Now, Euro US dollar, I said this morning, and look, if I was in an entertaining mode, what I would do here is place an order, and I'd place it as an OCO. OCO, for those of you who aren't aware, would be a long and a short at the same time, exactly the same as we're trading on the pound, basically. Breakout trade. So the breakout I would choose to trade would be of this bar right here. So I'd place a long above it, a short below it, a little bit further under the daily pivot actually, and see what happens next. I don't want to teach you guys bad habits. It is a risky play because you can actually get taken into both and lose on both. I don't think this is the ideal candle to do that. So therefore, I won't take the trade and entice you into it. But very, very tempted so to do, because I think that that's showing me that we're getting higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, potentially a higher low off the daily pivot. So that gives me the indication that we can go long, but we're also getting lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs on the bigger time frame, which entices me, once we come back into a range, as you know, to look for a lower high. Is this the lower high that I'm looking for? Maybe. Therefore, I can make a case for both. And if I go long here, I can take profit here. If I go short here, I can take profit here. So, it's something that if I wasn't talking to you guys, I'd probably be doing exactly that. But I'd need to be sitting right in front of it to manage it properly, because you can get into a sticky situation, and it may not be the case that we are. So I don't want to entice you into that. But if it was sitting here, then I would be very, very much in favor of it. But keep your eye on that just for future reference, guys. I'm not recommending you trade it, but I think a break of that either side will result in some distance at least. So enough room for take profit. That's what I'm saying.
Sorry, mate. I've just just so everybody knows, the stop order should be at I think 76.26. Just putting that in place there. Yeah, really tricky again. I think it's going to be one of those that I'm just looking at it and wondering whether, if this market is coming down from here, then it might just be enough for me. I might again just be one and done, mate. It's just proving to be just another tricky market.
Mm-hmm.
From what happened yesterday, really, it should take off, and the fact that it's not is a concern. But the S&P is still floating to the upside, and the Dow is doing the same. I don't see too much price action, which is suggesting a strong pound. So why the FTSE is struggling to get itself going is tricky, and that just suggests that maybe this price could be possibly a bit high. Now, I might be one and done, but what I will also look at is,
mate, or?
Yes, I will do. Let me just put this last thing in the market. I'm just trying to pick the right levels as I speak.
Pound has been very unkind to us as well at the moment.
Yeah, it's really tricky, isn't it? It's just
it's very tricky.
It's just what's the pound doing? Is that sort of stable,
it's on a tear at the moment.
It's on a tear to the upside.
Yep.
That's maybe why the FTSE's struggling here. Right, I've just got to find the right one to mess with here. That one there, that one there, that one there. What's that one? It's no good.
You want me to carry on?
Yeah, just give me one more minute.
No drama, mate. We were up to the euro, I believe, and we spoke about that breakout either way. EuroCAD. Now, EuroCAD, not in my strategy, to be fair, but it has delivered something that I'm working on, and I'll share this with you guys when I've worked on it a little bit harder. But I'm working on a counter false break here of this trade line, but that's not really what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is a trend that has started, right? So we've come off the bottom here. We've got higher lows in place, and we've broken the resistance trade line, come back and tested it. Instead of entering here as I would normally, so break, retest, I'm going to enter above the bar that is next. So in this case, it's this bar here, which would mean I would enter the market at, and I already have this trade placed on my own account. So I might as well put it there for you. You might as well see it. We'll just trade at very low risk though. And the reason we're going to trade at very low risk is that it's still in beta mode. Low risk, I mean low risk. And let's call that 1/8 of 1%, right? So 0.13 will do.
Okay.
We can put our entry above this bar, and that would be at 145. Let's take it up to 54. 145.54.
Okay, I'm all right now, mate.
Right, mate. Happy days. and we'll put our stop loss underneath this bar. Why? Because it just makes sense. At 1.4535. 1.4535. We'll get rid of take profit pips. Those of you who haven't got the EA that I'm using, then just take notice of the levels, guys. TP1, we would need to take TP1 either here or here. I'll go with here. And that level would be the open of that bar, 145.50. That can't be right. Sorry. What's going on here? Read it properly. 145.55. It can't be right. Let me... 145. Let's call it 145.72, shall we? TP1 is 145.72 or 18 pips. We'll allow one for slippage. We'll call it 17 pips. And we will close 1/3 of the position at that point, which it'll be pennies by the time we get there, but that's not the point. The point is we're trialing this, okay? Stop loss, we'll change that to 17, which will be non-moving. And TP2 will be the monthly pivot, which according to this is at, it's not telling me. Okay. Oh, you little, I nearly swore then, Ash. 146.19, we'll call that 146.15. That'll be TP1. So 146.15 will be 46 plus 15, 61. We'll call that 60 pips. That's TP2. And again, we'll remove 1/3 off the table. And the reason I'll leave 1/3 in is we could easily go to the top of the range. So this is, I guess, a typical what I look for every single day, which is off the bottom, higher low. So we've got a higher low, we've got a higher high, we've got a higher low, we've got a higher high. So I'm actually playing that. But where I would normally play it above this bar, I'm playing it above this bar. It may not work, guys, but it is a new theory I'm working on. So there we go. I said I would share what I'm working on, but this is not a fully fledged trade, guys. Just be very much aware of that and risk accordingly if you are going to trade it. So it's a buy order. Rightio-ho. That's EuroCAD. Aussie Kiwi, gee whiz, I was keen to get long this. And where do I had my, well, I've still got it. There it is. I've still got my long in the market. I thought I cancelled that. I must have on another account and left it here. Reason I want to be long, and this has probably given me a far better place to go long, is because of what I'm seeing. This really does resemble, and we spoke about this yesterday, this really does resemble an inverted head and shoulders for me. And I also said yesterday that we'd be early if we took anything before we came down to at least here and preferably here or even to match that level. I'm okay with this now. I just need the right scenario to get into the market. Some would say that that bar there was probably the bar to trade. I disagree. Well, I could agree, but you could put your entry there, but you've got to get your stop under here, in my opinion. And that's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for something a little bit, I wouldn't say more obvious, but more respectable in terms of, okay, it makes sense to me. And I'll probably do that on a lower time frame. I know where price is. I've got that level in mind. What I'll look for is a lower time frame that gives me some sort of confluence. So maybe a trade line coming through here. So maybe I could see a break of that, get back above it and retest it. Then I'm good. I'm good to go at that point. So is there an option? Is there an option? Don't really think so at the moment. So that's really what I want to see. I want to see a level go and then be false. That's what I want to see. So that's Aussie Kiwi. I'm dead keen to get into this at some stage. It's just, and we've seen, you know, how tricky it is to get into the market at the moment. It is tricky. You've got to be very, very careful. Yeah. Now, dollar yen.
Oh yeah, the dollar yen. This is the chart of the week. This is the, for me, this is the chart of the week, and it's
yeah, slow to
not play ball at all, is it?
No, that's very slow to play out. There was another potential entry here on the 4-hour chart today with this bar. So entry under here, stop loss up here somewhere, maybe even stop loss up here. I don't know, but that now appears to be taken out by another candle that's probably going to give us another indication that price is unstable at this level. But tricky. I think I'm happy with the order that I've still got in the market, which is trading this bar here. I think I'll just leave it at that. If this isn't a fake new highs, and we won't be worried here. But if it isn't a fake out and we go in early, then we could be in all sorts of bother here as it hits support, which was resistance, and just goes bang.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing with the FTSE actually. Same thing, you know. It's the price is taken off. It's taken out a load of stops, and you know, it's got to keep going. Really, if it fails here, then it's going to suggest the downside is imminent.
Yeah. So, you know, the market does remain tricky. We are still under very mixed fundamental influence. I will call it that. But yeah, still keen to get short this. Still keen to get long Aussie Kiwi, and still keen to get short. What was the other one? No, that's probably it actually. Oh, the Kiwi US dollar. But that looks like it ain't going to happen, guys. This looks like a genuine breakout, and maybe the US dollar, maybe what they've said, the murmurs that were about, which were saying to me that this trade deal is not good for the US. Certainly not good for the US dollar, and that's what we're seeing at the moment with everything taking off in a long direction. We just lost 1% on the pound trade, so that was a shocker today. Don't like to see those full 1%ers. They're not good. They knock us about a bit, and that's our 4th loss in a row this week. So it looks like the US dollar is completely out of favor at the moment.
Yeah, it does, mate. And actually that's really affecting the FTSE. The FTSE took off to the upside, and it's just retraced pretty much everything that it's made, and making this another difficult environment to be honest. Got to just leave it alone and let the stops be hit, I think, this time, even though you know, I suspect that a short under, in fact, let me show you what I got now.
Sure.
If you let me share.
I'll try. Oh yeah, there we go.
Awesome, thanks, mate. Yeah, so the FTSE took off. Boom, straight. No problem, buddy. Straight to the upside, but it's just retraced everything, you know, that it needed to go, and I thought it would have been off on its way, but really now those stops really definitely have to be under this bar. I mean, when we kind of initially got it, this is our entry, so almost hit 1.5% from entry, but now these stops have to be here. It's worth leaving them just in case that, you know, it's just the clearing some of the people out of the way. That could be the case. And we do actually continue higher, because if we are to take this upper level out, again, then I suspect we really are going. So there's no point in getting too nervous here. But this stop definitely has to be solid here and not moved, because not moved down, that is, because if this market comes and takes out this low, it really could start to tank. So I'm going to have to watch out for that particular scenario as well. Yeah, not so good, not so good. Let's have a look at the 15-minute chart here. A few more minutes to go before this closes. If that was to close as it does now, that's going to look pretty ugly. But you can see how tricky trading is at this moment in time. You know, the key really is that we need to break out of the level, and even taking out this high here hasn't promoted some follow through as yet. But by the same token, every time we kind of, you know, yesterday we were taking out lows and there was no kind of follow through. So it's just in a horrible range. What was it yesterday? I think it was down here. Yeah, when this bar started to come down, taking out this, making this a lower low below the daily pivot, and then it just kind of like ground its way back up again. So it's been very, very, it's a difficult market to trade. That's the bottom line. And I think it's just one of those that, you know, you stick in there with it and see what happens. But I think just given what information I have in front of me, I'm probably going to be one and done. I don't have any clarity if this market isn't to go up. I just don't know where it's going. Certainly a suggestion it's going to be coming all the way back down again, but I don't fancy trading that with the strength of the other markets across the board. You know, we see the Dow Jones Industrials now at 29,124. So this one continues to strengthen to the upside. There's a breakout that looks like the Dow Jones breakout is quite happy to so far hold its level. The S&P is doing something pretty similar, so it's just about holding its level. And when we look at the dollar yen is weakening. So the dollar yen is strengthening. So there's no kind of risk off in you know, in the mood music. It certainly isn't for risk off right now. Gold is weakening as well, and it's just making the whole thing just a little bit confusing. And maybe this is the story. You know, the pound is the problem. You know, with the pound strengthening, with the dollar weakening, then that could be the story for the FTSE. So the FTSE may well be just too tricky to trade. You know, where all the other markets float to the upside. Let's just have a quick look at the Nasdaq. Nasdaq is just about going. CAC are on. Yeah, that also like the trade deal. DAX seems to like the trade as well, breaking to the upside, gap up this morning, and but just not able to hold its ground. So not for me, guys. I think if this fails, then I probably will lose interest very quickly and have to just step away from the market for the day. But I'm sticking in there. You know, that's the key really for right now. Let's just stick with it and see what the market offers, because it may be able to hold this level. Doesn't look like it, but it may be. We'll see. But yeah, that's it for me, mate. I don't think I can do anything else. You know, I've done everything I can. Mm-hmm. And it's still spitting me and giving me a fat lip. So I'm not sure whether it's really an environment that I'm particularly happy to fight in.
Yeah, look, I think we said it last week. It was a terrible market to trade. I don't think much has changed this week. I think we're still on tenterhooks, I'll put it that way, and the market's reacting, you know, off anything, I think, and just whipsawing all over the place and not really going too far in any direction. So yeah, very, very tough, but we'll hang in here and we'll find something to do in the next week or so to hopefully improve the situation. That's a promise. I certainly won't be giving up.
Yeah, I mean, it'll unfold eventually.
Apart from the pound trade, I'm actually doing okay. I'm in no danger, but the pound trades this week have been pretty shit. Aussie CAD, maybe we can get out of this. I don't know. It's just been in a terrible position. And if either of Aussie Kiwi, dollar yen, or EuroCAD play their game, I could still have a decent week. We'll see.
Yeah.
So I've told you guys what I'm after. There's really nothing more to do than just wait and see what happens. Answering your question, Derek, yes, 8:15 is the time, mate, for tonight's Slingshot Strategy Leader Coaching. Yes.
Great stuff. All right, buddy. Well,
Let's
well
call it
done.
quits, shall we?
Yeah, I think we should.
Tough week,
we should. Oh, yeah, man. It's a very, very tough week. Yeah, it's been probably one of the toughest weeks that I can remember for quite some time.
Yeah, look, they do come along, and it's just part of the game. We'll
yeah,
get
do you know? I know when it's been a tough week because it's when the market draws out mistakes from me, and I think that's what's really been going on this week. I think pretty sure Monday was okay. I think it's probably been mixed, but certainly on the bad side, that's for sure. Well, it's not over yet, even, is it? I mean, we got one more day, and obviously things will be decided, I guess, tomorrow as the weekly bars start closing up. Might even be worth waiting until tomorrow is done and seeing if that's given any kind of direction. But yeah, difficult one, mate. Difficult one for sure.
Mate, they won't stop coming. But the good part is the good weeks are normally far more than the bad ones. So we'll.
Yes, I agree. Yeah. We just got to wait for one of those.
Yep.
That'll sort things out a little bit.
You betcha. All right, mate. You have a great weekend, and everybody else do the same. Those of you who won't be with me tonight, I hope you enjoy the weekend and don't. Well, maybe if you haven't finished trading, that you'll still be positive by the end of the week. A little bit of a task because it ain't an easy market, but that's the way she goes, guys. Yeah. Catch you bright and breezy next week when Monday we'll do it all again, Ash.
Good stuff, mate. Yeah, you have a great weekend too, buddy. And obviously to everybody else, have a fantastic weekend. Stay safe. And we will be doing it all again. See you on Monday, buddy.
At
5 to 8. 5 to 8. Sorry, you caught me on the hop there. I was thinking 8:15 because you're just talking to Andrew about it. Yeah, 5 to 8 next week.
That's a date. And don't you be late. See you later, guys. Bye-bye. See you, Lewis. See you, Daniel.
See you, guys.